This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Of all the iconic heroes in video games, few have reached the prestige of Link, the eternal hero of the Zelda games. Dressed in the legendary green tunic, wielding the sword forged by the goddess and the first hero, Link stands as the last hope of a tortured land, a reincarnating figure who represents the hope and courage of the people of a kingdom plagued by evil. And it turns out, in order to be the one to single-handedly turn back the darkness of Demise, Ganon, Vati, Majora or other nightmares, you've got to be one tough dude. Link has shown time and time again that despite his Peter Pan inspired outfits and the whimsical nature of some of the Zelda games, he has his fair share of badass moments throughout the Zelda series. So with all these Halloween Zelda videos flooding YouTube tonight, let's instead look at when the light of Hyrule burned brightest in the face of evil, through 5 of my favourite Link moments. I'm going to keep this list limited to 1 entry per game, and as always this is my own personal opinion. After the video, feel free to leave your favourite badass Link moments in the comments below. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of Link's best moments. Blades of the Yiga. Link's relationship with Princess Zelda in Breath of the Wild is one of the most interesting the two have had yet. Zelda, after the untimely death of her mother, has the weight of her destiny thrust upon her shoulders, told that she must find a way to unlock the hidden powers of her bloodline before Ganon's prophesied return. Despite pilgrimages across Hyrule and prayers at goddess statues, the princess fails to awaken her powers until Hyrule is on the edge of defeat. Link was born as the son of a Hylian knight, and by a young age his ridiculous skills were showing, being able to best grown men and pull the sacred Master Sword from its pedestal while still just a child. After a particular incident where Link defeated a malfunctioning Guardian by grabbing a nearby pot lid and bouncing one of the lasers back into its eye, the young hero was appointed as Zelda's personal knight. But despite his skills, Zelda felt distant from Link, uncomfortable in his presence, believing that the Hylian knight hated her for her inability to awaken her powers. At one point, the princess loses it, shouting at him to stop following her, furious at him for staying silent and refusing to let her wander Hyrule unprotected. However, Zelda's feelings toward Link drastically change after an incident in the Gerudo Desert. Breathing heavily, Zelda ran frantically through the sands, desperately fleeing the unseen terrors which hounded her. But up ahead, to her dismay, 2 Yiga foot soldiers appeared, cutting off her escape. Turning to run was no use, a 3rd warrior appeared, leaving her completely surrounded by the assassins on all sides. One of the treacherous Sheikah stepped closer to the princess, who lay helpless on the floor. The blasphemic inverted eye of the Yiga clan stared down at her as the soldier raised his wicked blade, ready for the kill. But as Zelda closed her eyes, expecting the end, there was a flash of steel, a cry cut through the silence, and the Yiga fell limply to the ground. Standing between Zelda and the remaining 2 Yiga was Link, crouched with the Master Sword drawn, eyes focused on the traitors. Shifting his weight caused the Yiga to stumble backwards in fear, holding out the sacred Master Sword as a barrier between the evil men and the 2 Hylians. This was the moment Zelda's relationship with Link changed, where she finally began to understand him. From this moment on, her attitude completely shifts. The princess begins trying to open Link up, revealing a man burdened with the stress of fulfilling his role as the hero. Not only is this a great moment for the characters of Link and Zelda in Breath of the Wild, it's a glimpse at what it means to be Link. The first of his kind. Demise is one of the most intimidating villains in the Zelda series. Despite his relatively lackluster introduction, only appearing in his true form right at the climax of the game, his design and personality help sell him as the origin of all evil. Demise was a being who first tore free into the world during the era of the goddess Hylia, long before Skyward Sword. After a fierce battle over the Triforce, the Demon King was sealed by the goddess in the sealed grounds by the Temple of Hylia. Centuries later, the Demon Lord Girahim, an underling loyal to Demise, works to free him from his seal, which at the very end of the game comes to pass, and the Demon King once again walks the earth. Demise is a hulking brute, his dark body studded with black scales, a mouth full of sharp, inhuman teeth, and with torrents of flames pouring from his head where his hair should be. Girahim, the violent, proud Demon Lord who up to this point had served as the game's primary antagonist, is revealed to be little more than the Sword of Demise, a living weapon who is recalled to his savage blade form when the Demon King is reborn. Demise reveals that when he last waged war on Hyrule, the humans of the land all shivered under rocks like insects, terrified at the mere glimpse of his dark form. Not one of them dared stand before him, dared challenge his conquest, instead screaming and clinging to the goddess Hylia, praying and crying in the hopes that her grace would protect them. Demise's backstory paints him as an impossibly powerful foe, an indomitable evil that no man before could even stand in the presence of, let alone oppose. But the entire time Demise is telling this story, Link stands, unmoving, blade drawn, eyes focused on the demon. Unlike any Hylian before, Link not only refuses to run, but actively stands before Demise, challenging his attempt to take over. Link's unbreakable courage amuses Demise, who never believed that anything less than a goddess would dare to stand before him in battle. It's this interest in Link that causes Demise to offer a one-on-one fight with the hero, a dance of swords which the Demon King ultimately loses. The reason this moment stands on my list of Link's most badass acts is that this is the very first time that evil, in its purest and truest form, met its match in the form of a hero. The Zelda series tells countless different stories of a boy in green standing up to a horrifying evil, but it can all be traced back to this moment, when the hero of the skies stood before Demise, denying him entry to the land of the living. This was the first human who did not flee, setting the stage for those who'd follow in his path. Since last week, I've been continuing to build my website using Squarespace, who are offering 10% off your first purchase if you head over to squarespace.com/Zeltic. I know that not everyone who watches my videos has a Twitter account, and your suggestions can get buried in the comments section here on YouTube, so I've added a video requests page using the contact form feature, where you can drop in and leave a suggestion, which will directly be added to a spreadsheet for me, and I didn't have to code a thing. Squarespace also makes sure the website runs and looks clean on mobile too, so head over to zeltic.co.uk if you'd like to drop a video suggestion. I'd previously bought the domain name, but it took 5 minutes to switch it over to my Squarespace profile, though you can buy your own domain name directly through the platform. If you want to make a website of your own using Squarespace, jump over to squarespace.com/Zeltic to start a free trial, and if you like what you see, use the code ZELTIC to grab 10% off your first purchase. Stealing Epona. Moving on from an act of incredible courage to one that's just so cool it became one of the most iconic moments in the series, stealing Epona from Lon Lon Ranch in Ocarina of Time. Link's trusty steed Epona is a staple of the series, but first appeared in Ocarina of Time, where Link can meet the horse as both a child and an adult at Lon Lon Ranch. The ranch is run by the jovial Talon and his daughter Malon, who care for horses, including the young calf Epona. Talon is kind-hearted but often lazy, prone to falling asleep in inconvenient places. It's his distracted nature that makes his employee, Ingo, despise him. When Ganondorf takes control of Hyrule during Link's 7-year slumber, Ingo is allowed to take over the ranch, capitalizing on the opportunity by forcing Malon to work while he collects rupees for horse riding. Epona, now a full-grown mare, is one of these horses owned by Ingo, and when Ingo notices Link's skill at riding her, he'll challenge him to a race. When he loses this race, he'll fear that Ganondorf will be disappointed in him, so challenges Link once more with increased stakes. If Link wins, he can keep the horse. Link wins this race again, despite Ingo's violent overworking of his own horse in his attempt to outrun Epona. He'll keep his word, allowing Link to have the horse, but locks down the ranch, trapping both horse and hero inside. And it's here we get one of the coolest moments in Ocarina of Time. Link can ride Epona to the walls of the ranch, leaping over the fence as the main Hyrule Field theme kicks in, changing to a crescendo as Epona rears back in celebration. While outclassed by others on this list in terms of visuals and animation, being a moment from a game from 1998, stealing Epona from Lon Lon Ranch remains one of my favourite parts of the game. When I finally got Epona as a kid, it was unbelievably cool, stealing her from imprisonment and leaping to freedom. A family quest. The Hero of Winds has two individual quests during the Wind Waker. The first is the quest which sent him on his larger journey to defeat Ganondorf, the quest to save his sister. Link's birthday was interrupted by the Helmarock King appearing in the skies above Outset Island, dropping Tetra into the woods when shot by the pirates' cannons. After Link rescues Tetra from the woods, the Helmarock King will return, tearing through the sky and snatching Aurel as she ran across the bridge. As we learn later on, the Helmarock King was sent by Ganondorf to capture girls with pointy ears of a certain age, as part of his scheme to find Princess Zelda. These girls were imprisoned in a cell in his stronghold, the Forsaken Fortress, in the far northwest of the ocean. After Aurel's capture, Link is forced to leave his home in search of her. With the help of the pirates, he leaves Outset Island and his grandma behind, travelling into the unknown. The pirates take Link to the Forsaken Fortress, but in the process he loses his sword, meaning he has to sneak through the citadel unarmed, stealthily avoiding the guard moblins and searchlights. When Link finally reaches the peak of the fortress, he'll recover his sword, and slay a green bokoblin guarding the door to the cells where Aurel is held. Despite this reunion of family, a dark shadow falls over the children, and the Helmarock King descends from above. With only his small blade, Link is no match for the colossal bird, who tears him away from his sister once more, casting him across the sea. But the hero's failure at the Forsaken Fortress would be short-lived. With the guidance of the King of Red Lions, Link begins his true journey, obtaining the boomerang, bow, and even the sacred Master Sword from the Forgotten Kingdom below. While the Link who originally snuck through the Forsaken Fortress was little more than a child trying to save his family, the Link who returns is nothing short of a hero, tearing through Ganondorf's defences and storming through the stronghold to the prison room. This time, Link is able to have a heartwarming reunion with his sister, and the pirates help carry the girls to safety. But Link's business isn't done, he has a personal foe to conquer. This time, when the Helmarock King inevitably returns to guard the captured girls, Link is prepared. He takes on the bird, cracking its steel mask with the Skull Hammer and destroying the monster with the Master Sword. This Link isn't just the hero, taking up the blade of the Hero of Time and ending the story of Ganondorf. This Link is a big brother, who sailed across the vast oceans to save his sister. The rescue of Aurel and the subsequent victory over the monster who took her is one of the most memorable parts of the Wind Waker to me. It's here where the game truly changes. The quest for Aurel is over. The battle for Hyrule is about to begin. Defense of the village. A prominent story told by Twilight Princess is that of the game's Link, the hero of Twilight, stepping up to fill the boots of his predecessor and ancestor, the Hero of Time. We know that, according to Hyrule Historia, the hero's shade is the lingering spirit of this legendary hero from Ocarina of Time, passing on his knowledge and skills to the next in line to take up the Master Sword. The shade tells Link that the path to becoming the true hero is a long one, but once you have grasped all of the hidden skills, you shall be worthy of walking it. But I'd argue that the moment in which Link becomes the true hero isn't as a result of his tutelage from the hero of time, but in the first moment in which he's forced to act the part of the hero and defend the weak. After the game's first dungeon, the Forest Temple, the children from Ordon Village are found taking refuge from the enemies of Twilight in Kakariko Village, near Death Mountain. But the fragile peace is shattered when, out of the blue, King Bulblin and his entourage storm into the town, riding monstrous, armoured Bulbos. Tallow flees from the stampede, but Beth stands, frozen with fear, directly in the path of the gargantuan King Bulbo. But in a brief moment of courage, Colin's usual cowardice was forgotten, and he shoves Beth hard, taking her place in the Bulblin's path. After the dust settles, Barnes rushes from his home to be met by the lumbering mass of King Bulblin, gripping Colin in one huge green fist. The monster stares directly at the Hylian, as if to challenge him to try and save the child, but the man lowers his mask in an attempt to hide. But suddenly, a horse's neigh breaks the silence, and Link gallops Epona into the village in pursuit of the Bulblins, who ride off into Hyrule Field. After a horseback chase, King Bulblin will ride to the Great Bridge of Hylia, which had been set up as a trap for Link. As soon as Epona steps foot on the stone, a Bulblin archer sets fire to a barricade behind him, trapping him on the thin bridge with King Bulblin. Monster and Hylian joust on the bridge, both ends burning to prevent escape. Despite the colossal size of the beasts, Link bests King Bulblin, sending him tumbling off the bridge to the lake below. And victorious, Epona rears back, and Link raises the Ordon sword to the sky. In a game full of incredible moments, Link's first victory over King Bulblin stands out to me as the moment where Link truly becomes who he was meant to be. It's the moment where, like the hero of Wind's rescue of Aurel, the hero of Twilight finds the courage to stand up for the defenseless children of his hometown, to fulfill the role of the hero. While it's exciting to be swept off into your destiny, a quest against a villain of world-ending scale, the moments I cherish most in Zelda games are often the personal ones, and Link's rescue of Colin is just that. Here, the ranch worker from Ordon Village is truly reborn as the hero of legend. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. What are your favourite badass Link moments? Let me know in the comments below. Again, a huge shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring the video. If you're interested, check out either my website or squarespace.com/Zeltic. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.